Beauty Talk. So today I'm going to be following a Vogue beauty makeup tutorial, and this is going to be Madison Beer's Guide to Soap Brows and Easy Blush. I'm going to be changing my routine based on this tutorial right here. And what I encourage you guys to do is when you watch a tutorial, you kind of do what I'm doing and just pair colors according to your own skin tone, pair skincare according to your own skin type, and just take whatever information the tutorial gives to you and make it your own. So let's get started.
Hey guys, it's Madison Beer, and I am here today to show you my everyday skincare and makeup routine. Yeah. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I immediately wash my face. I throw this on.
Oh, I had one.
And then...
So what I'm going to be using is my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Moisturizer, and this also doubles as a primer. It's awesome. There is fragrance in here, so just be mindful of that. Before I do, I'm gonna, my face is already cleansed. I'm just gonna do a pump or two of the Glass Skin Serum from Peach and Lily. This is a really good serum. And the serum really gives you that smooth base that makes it easier to put on makeup. And I think she's probably normal, maybe dry, but she's definitely not looking oily from this, this lighting. So, okay, so I'm gonna get this moisturizer on. My stomach is grumbling because I literally just came back from Hot Pot. Okay, if my stomach is gonna grumble through this whole video, I probably shouldn't film. No, it's okay. Okay, everything's good. Moisturizer is on. I think we can keep going.
So be grateful that it's just one now. I feel like when I roll it, it might make it feel better. Maybe it's making it worse, but this does something to my brain that makes me think it feels better. Next step I do is my moisturizer.
Okay, so when she put the serum on, I think I should have done this before the moisturizer, but she's using a jade roller. You can actually kind of just simulate it with your own fingers if you wanted to. This is actually a technique that we do in the spa for skincare patients. For skincare clients, we usually just kind of do this during the facial massage. It's really nice. It really helps the serum absorb into your skin. Just do light taps. You can do that if you don't have a jade roller. I actually don't have one on me, so...
I'm gonna move on. This is my favorite facial spray in the entire world. I'm not even gonna try to butcher the name because I'm gonna fail miserably.
Caudalie Beauty Elixir. This is so good. I'm really happy that she's enjoying it as much as I do. What this beauty elixir does is it gives your face more of a glow. It does soothe redness a little bit for me. It does have a really strong smell, but it kind of disappears after the first minute. Ugh.
So last step in my skincare routine before we go into the makeup, which I'm excited about, is this La Mer Eye Concentrate Eye Cream, and this makes me feel so fancy whenever I use it. First step of my makeup routine, which this is a very new thing I've initiated with my makeup. I've not always done this, and I'm obsessed with it. I used to have really out of control eyebrows. This amazing trend of soap brows, which whoever came up with that is genius. It's literally a block of soap. Take a spoolie brush, and you really get the soap in there. Just brush through your eyebrows. And
so I'm just gonna do 2 spritzes of water, and I'm gonna do what she's doing. Basically, it's just soap brows. It's what we've been doing on Beauty Talk for all of quarantine. We're gonna do the same thing today. So we're gonna pick it up, we're gonna make it nice and fluffy, and we're really going to adhere that brow to our skin. Now, this is really helpful for a lot of Asian girls with really sparse eyebrows. They don't really have much to work with. I promise you, you're gonna be surprised at how much eyebrow you actually have once you pick them up using soap. It's really nice. Anyone can fake bushy brows. My eyebrows, they become twice as big when they get a little soap in them, so it's really good. Really fun. And once you get a feel for doing soap brows, you can actually do a lot of different techniques with them. You can make them really big and bushy, super editorial, or you can actually make them just slightly bushy and you can push the rest of the hairs back into their natural shape. That's also a trick. So what I'm gonna do now, because I don't have as much eyebrow hair as her, I don't know if she had her eyebrows microbladed or not, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm gonna just powder my brows just so I can get a little bit more volume in there so the eyebrows look done. And at this point, you can either do powder, you can do pencil, you can do whatever you want. You can do dip brow. This is absolutely your look. Actually, oh man, should I have done my base before this? Nah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start powdering at the height of my brow arch. I'm gonna swing that color all the way to the end of the tail. Then I'm gonna gently push that color towards the middle of the brow, and I'm kind of just gonna stop here so it's a bit of a gradient effect. A really nice and easy natural powder effect. I love this technique. And when you concentrate all the color at the arch, you do get a bit of a lifted effect without having to overly exaggerate the arch. Fun technique to try out at home. See if it works for you. And I'm just gonna fill in a few hairs at the front just to balance out the eyebrows a little bit. So this is where I'm gonna stop with the eyebrows. I know she has a lot darker eyebrows and her eyebrows are more arched and more defined. You gotta pick what works for your own face structure, and this is really important to know how you like to do your brows, and you take that soap and you kind of manipulate your brows into the shape that you think looks good on you. So if you think that a high arch like Madison's isn't gonna work on you, do a more softer, straight eyebrow and brush the hairs to the side instead of upwards. Okay, so let's keep it going.
I don't really use foundation technically, it's a skin tint is what it's called.
Okay, so she's gonna do the Glossier Skin Tint. I used to have that one, but I ran out. The way that I like to do a tint is I like to mix my serum, the Glass Skin Peach and Lily serum, and then foundation. So this foundation is very liquid and the serum is also very, very fluid. So when you mix them, you do get a bit of a tint-like texture. Let's see if it works. I've never tried this before. Okay, so I'm gonna use a beauty blender just like Madison. Dude, this is like nothing. If you have severely textured, severely red and blemished skin that you want to cover, then I would suggest you go with a medium coverage foundation. Use the same technique, but you can use like a sheer to medium foundation instead of a skin tint, and you're gonna get the same result, but with more coverage. And it's still gonna look really nice and even because you're using a beauty blender sponge, and that gives the best even coverage. So let's have her finish putting on her skin tint and we're gonna follow her concealer routine.
Okay, so next up is the Lord and Savior of concealers, which is the NARS Creamy Concealer. I've been using these forever, and when I'm in the mood and I have time to do like a full face, I will, because I like doing makeup. That was custard, and then I use ginger as well. I use it for like more just covering my spots.
So she's using custard, same, in a different formula, in the liquid formula, which I also love, which is also great for oily combination skin, oddly enough. So you get pretty good coverage and you get a really good color match when you're using two different types of concealers. To follow her technique, I'm just gonna use something that's slightly darker. I'm gonna be using this Makeup Forever HD concealer right here. Let's see what happens. All right, so before we do anything, I'm just gonna blend a little bit of the Becca Under Eye Corrector, and I'm just gonna blend that with the custard concealer. I'm gonna use it under my eyes. She doesn't have dark circles like I do. She doesn't know the struggle. I'm gonna tailor this technique to fit my own needs. So she's applying her under eye concealer in a couple of lines in a downwards direction so she can kind of blend it out towards the edge. And for the big blemishes, I'm gonna follow what she's doing. I'm gonna use a somewhat darker color and I'm just gonna patch it up. Not sure if this is a good idea, actually. So then I'm gonna take the darker concealer. I don't wanna waste it, so I'm just gonna use that as my base. And just blend it out, man. So if you guys are looking for full coverage, you're gonna have to go back over your concealer with another concealer. And I'm just gonna go back into my big blemishes as well as my nose area with my custard concealer. And instead of the beauty blender, I'm just gonna have to blend it out with the brush. Okay, let's keep it going.
I'm gonna have to accept this guy for what he is. I go in with the Charlotte Tilbury, I think they're called glow sticks, contour wands. I use it very sparingly because a little goes a long way.
Okay, you guys, please don't do that. Do not stick the sponge on your face if you're planning on keeping the product for a long time. You can use it like that. It's fine. It's how the product was designed technically. But you probably shouldn't use your product like this if you want to keep your product around for a long time. And this is a lot of product and a little bit goes a long way. Also, Charlotte Tilbury is super freaking expensive. I wouldn't recommend doing it like she does. I know that money isn't an issue for a lot of people, but for me, I would never do that. To make sure your wands last longer, you'll want to move the product from the applicator into a clean surface without interacting with the sponge tip. I usually scrape it on a clean spatula, which just so happens to be my Makeup Forever brushes. And then I'm gonna either spray it with alcohol or yeah, I'm just gonna spray it with alcohol after I finish because I just don't want bacteria growing in my really expensive products. And this is how I can make expensive products last for a long time. So I'm just gonna be using my Anastasia cream contour instead of the Charlotte Tilbury one. I actually don't like the Charlotte Tilbury contour wands because the color doesn't really work for my skin tone. Yep. So she's dotting it across the temple and contouring. You guys already know how to contour by now. I don't really like doing contour like this. I like doing contour on a big brush and then I just kind of do it a little layer by layer. So when you're blending your contour with something like a beauty blender, especially a damp one, you're gonna get more of a loose, more diffused blur. And the shape is gonna be softer, the color's not gonna be as intense. The trade-off is that your shape is not gonna be as precise. So a way that I kind of counteract that is I go back into my concealer color. I'm gonna show you. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that concealer color and I'm gonna go right at the end of my contour, gently cut that contour. So you're not gonna get a hard edge. You're gonna be able to blend this out right away. So this is a really easy and basically effortless way to make your lines sharper without creating any harsh edges. All right, let's keep going.
My favorite product in makeup, period, is blush. This is my favorite blush ever. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Blush.
You guys. That's 2 for 2. Okay. Okay, so we're matching energies here. This is a good tutorial. All right, so I'm just gonna take my, I think it's the same color as her too. So this is called Glowgasm and it's called Pinkgasm from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't know if it was limited edition. I really hope not. I don't want to find out. So I'm just gonna open this product and I'm gonna put it onto a clean surface. Take my spatula and move it to my hand. So she's basically dotting this at the apple of her cheeks. So we can do the same technique. We're gonna use our cream blush brush from Makeup Forever. We're gonna stipple that. And you wanna stipple most of the product off on the back of your hand before you move this brush onto your face. That way you get a more controlled color placement and you don't have anything that's too crazy. Because if you have something that's too intense, especially with something as pigmented as this blush, you're gonna run the risk of having to overblend it. And when you overblend cream products, you're gonna get a lot of lifting. So she is just dotting this from the center of her cheek, which is like the apple of your cheek. I know people say like, oh, you can just smile to find the apple of your cheek. Like, dude, it's right in the middle. I don't know if you can miss it. So she's using a lot of blush. She's really blending it out. I'm gonna kind of try to do the same. So I'm just trying to get an idea of what her preferences are and if there is any overlap between what I like and what she likes. All during this course of one makeup video.
I also completely blush up my nose like I'm a cartoon character.
I noticed that because I have a wider nose, from my personal experience, I don't think this kind of thing looks good on me. I would never recommend people with wider or bulbous noses do the blush right here at the tip. It's just not, I just don't think it's a winning move. I think that if you want to do that technique, just place it upwards right here. It's a really common technique in Asia. People in Korea have been doing it forever. So, yeah, you can try that. I'm going to be trying that. Instead of putting it at the tip, I'm going to put it at the bridge. Oh, geez. I hope it doesn't make me look drunk. That's actually one of the techniques in Asia. You kind of replicate the Asian glow. I mean, people from all cultures do it now. It's kind of... I just don't know. This look is not for everyone. I personally don't like the look of Asian glow. I don't know how I feel about it. This is already looking kind of... All right, let's keep it going.
So now I'm gonna go in with powder. weird order of operations is about to go down, just warning everybody. This is the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'm gonna just try to make that guy as chilled out as possible, even though it might not be possible. And
Oh, okay, so now she's moving on to setting powder. I'm going to be using my Laura Mercier setting powder. So the whole point of this makeup tutorial, I'm kind of guessing, is that it's supposed to be a bit more dewy. So if you wanted to make it dewy, you don't want to powder everything. So it's best to have a smaller, denser brush if you're going to be powdering in small areas. Kind of powder your biggest pimples and see what the biggest offenders are. Powder the tip of your nose if you don't want to seem oily. So set your T-zone as much as you can. Don't be afraid to really go into the powder in this area. Somewhat powder under the eyes. If you have really oily lids, you really do want to set everything. That kind of thing is not really negotiable for oily skin people. If you have dry skin, you wouldn't do this step. Okay.
I'm just gonna go in lightly. This is in the shade Private Island. Shout out to Ree for making the best makeup ever.
So I'm just gonna take this on a bigger powder brush. You always want to use a bigger brush for bronzer because you do want that soft diffused effect. I don't like using a round brush for bronzer because of my face shape. I much prefer something more angular. Sweep upwards, and as you sweep upwards, you can flatten your brush, and then you use the flat side completely when you come down. And that covers a lot of area. It delivers just the right amount of product, and your placement is going to be spot on. Practice that technique as often as you can handle. Start at the edge, swing it upwards, flatten on the way down. Start at the edge, swing it upwards, completely flat on the way down. And we are bronze. I put too much on.
And I don't really ever nose contour because, again, fearful of the unknown. I have no idea what I'm doing because it still does scare me. I use a brush like this.
Everyone should do nose contour lightly. Okay, I typically don't like contouring my nose because there's so much texture, man. It's crazy. I feel like I end up always looking dirty 10 times out of 10, but you know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna contour just like Madison Beer. We're gonna completely contour our nose. We're gonna do it for the clout. Anyway, this is a really good brush for micro contouring. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Keeping it in the family, we're gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty blush, which is in ginger.
Another blush? Are you kidding? But we put so much effort into this glowy blush. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on that. I'm not gonna argue with the influencer. I'm just gonna let her influence me. Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna be taking my Hourglass blush. I think this is not a bad choice considering it does have a luminous finish. So you're not gonna completely just mattify all that dewiness that we work so hard to create. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting so salty about this double blush, but like, why? I'm gonna be using a big blush brush. I'm trying to dust a very, very gentle layer. And it's making the look, it's still very luminous, mind you, it's still very luminous, but it does tone down the intensity just a little bit. Let's keep going.
So the next step is my beloved Morphe Madison Beer palette. Oh,
I wish I had one, dang. I didn't realize she had a Morphe palette. I would have bought it. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, I would have bought it. Okay, anyway. Anyway, so my answer to the beautiful, gorgeous Madison Beer Morphe palette is this super ratchet, a million years old naked basics palette, whatever it is, what it is. Let's just... I'm actually going to use a bit of the Hoola bronzer to get a little bit of warmth because this palette, it doesn't have a lot of warmth to it, I noticed, and her palette does. You do basically an eye contour. And you also want to figure out how to contour your eyes. What I'm doing is I'm basically doing my typical eye contour, and this has never, ever led me wrong before. And what Madison is doing is she's basically doing the same. She's doing an eye contour that suits her own eye shape. Take that same color and I'm gonna go right under her eyes. For me, I like to start from the outer corner. I'm going to just pull that color right in. And I personally like to stop about 3/4 of the way. And if there's ever any issue of doing too much on the lower lid, you can just take that same concealer brush and gently brush upwards and out towards the temple, and it takes care of everything.
So I use this brush for my inner corner, and that is it. And this is what I do. So I always try to look down or like center. This is all this brush is for, and then it goes away. And then I have a bit bigger of brush to do my liner.
Okay, so she's doing kind of like a cat eye liner, but really soft. So I'm gonna try to do it with this, and I think I might mix it with a touch of this. Actually, you know what? Let me just demonstrate it with my own technique, honestly. Such a good opportunity to just show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be using my Makeup Forever Artist Pencil, sharpen it to a really fine point, and then take that liner, sketch out that cat shape, and then sketch out that cat wing liner. Just like how she's doing it, pretend your eyelash at the very end is super long and kind of just pretend that you're tracing the shadow of your longest lash. This is honestly easier. So what you can do is you can take an angled brush, or you can take a really small flat brush, and then you just blend out the edge, and it softens it up so well, so beautiful, looks just like powder. I'm gonna do this side with the powder. Okay, this is like significantly worse because the powder kind of sprays. Yikes. Okay.
The next step is my highlighter, my cream highlighter, which is the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter wand. And I just do like 2 little dots right there.
Okay, so we're gonna be using this Makeup Forever HD Soft Light highlighter. I feel like it's not necessary because we have such a nice highlight from our blush already. To just add more to it at this point, I don't know if it's too much. I feel like it kind of is too much. And I'm just gonna highlight my temple with the remnants off of this beauty blender. I'm just gonna do that. I'm not gonna touch the bridge of my nose, and I guess I'll do a little bit on the chin. So what, we had liquid highlighter over a powder blush that covered a luminous liquid blush, and okay, let's keep going.
I double up on highlighter a little bit. I really like this Glossier one. It's called Play, I think.
What? Okay, let's do it. Okay. So we're gonna put strobe cream. If you want to double up on highlighter, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, there really isn't much you can do to further intensify what is already a 12 out of 10 intensity. I'm
going to go in with my mascara. It's called the Lash Slick by Glossier, and it makes my eyelashes look like eyelash extensions. It just fills them out so much.
That's a really good mascara. Too bad mine is completely used up. I'm gonna be using my Ilia mascara. It's kind of the same. It's slightly different. It's a slightly different formula. It's really lengthening. So it's not too volumizing, which is what I love, because I only put mascara on my lower lashes. Okay, so I'm just gonna get my lashes on.
So anyways, now I'm going to my highlighter. I made sure that I would have something that I could use in my inner corner in this palette. And so I throw this into the inner corner. I don't do it too much,
And I'm just gonna use the first shade in the Naked Basics palette. This one's actually really shimmery, and it's a perfect highlight shade for the inner corner. I don't want to mess up the little point though. I don't know how do I do this without covering the point? Okay.
This is my favorite lip liner because it matches my lip tone, and I can get away with overlining my lips a lot and it doesn't really show. And already you can see this is where my lip is, and I go below it.
So again, when we use our lip liners, Makeup Forever, always, make sure the point is as sharp as possible. Always sharpen it before you use it. And I know this seems wasteful, but you really do need the point. So we have our lip liner, and then we're just gonna do that same exact thing. We've been doing this. We've been doing this in Beauty Talk. We can do this again. And I think she kind of closed her Cupid's bow a little bit. Let's just make it as overlined as possible. So while we're overlining our lips, let's use the Makeup Forever technique. And that is to take your liner and go right here, right at the outside corners of your lips, and then you just make that connect. It's a really nice technique because it actually makes your lips look a lot bigger. Let's continue.
I put it on like my lip liner on my skin, but once you put lip gloss on top of that, it looks like your lip.
Okay, so she's gonna use that lip gloss and she's gonna blend that gloss into the lip liner so you kind of have a more, I guess, natural look. So I'm gonna be using my Fenty lip gloss in the shade Fussy. I love this shade. This is kind of like a barely there kind of color. It's really, really amazing. And she said to just blend the gloss into your lip liner so it looks like your lips. So you're gonna get a sharp line from the outer portion of the lip liner, and then the inner portion of the lip liner is completely blended in by that gloss. I really like that technique. Good stuff.
And the last thing that I do, and this is if I'm feeling real fancy, give myself a spray of the same stuff.
Say no more.
I use at the beginning a light spray, nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy, she said. Anyway.
But my finishing touch, final step of my makeup daily routine is my hoops. I can't leave the house without my hoops. And if I do leave the house without my hoops, it's a very strange, weird day for me.
We're gonna do the full Madison Beer routine, including the hoops. Mine are a lot thinner, but these are the hoops that I love. These hoops are really lovely. They're from Free People. All right, so here is the look. Okay, so that's it for today's look. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was so much fun. It was my first time following a tutorial in real time. Oh my goodness, I love it and I can't wait to do it again. So if you guys like this video, let me know. Any other videos you want me to try out, any other techniques you want me to go back over. I know a lot of new students joined since the last couple of videos, so thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LINE or WeChat. I'll always be there and I'm gonna answer your questions. If you want to shop prestige skincare, makeup, hair care, go on hyperrealpro.com. Use the code Kelly20 for 20% off your whole order. Get this Caudalie Beauty Elixir. It is so good, I promise you. It's incredible. And you can shop my full skincare routine on hyperrealpro.com. Be sure to use Kelly20 for 20% off. All right, thank you guys so much and I will see you in the next one.